right, let me know when we're starting. Good evening, Long Beach. As we all know, earlier today, we had a few thousand protesters across our city, protesting generally peacefully. They were marching up and down Ocean Boulevard, across Alamitos Beach, throughout the downtown, many with signs meeting this moment of anxiety, of injustice, and marching, of course, for George Floyd and the killing that happened that we're all in such pain over. But within a few hours, that peaceful protest turned into something much deadlier, much more violent, and much more dark. What is occurring right now in our city is both heartbreaking and should anger us. The violence, the looting, that is not justice, and that is not peaceful protest. What is happening goes against the values of one of the most diverse cities in our country. I love Long Beach. We love Long Beach. And those that are perpetrating against our city and causing crime and destruction should be ashamed of themselves. I want to let everybody know that we have here tonight, I've got our chief of police, our fire chief, and our city manager who are going to be giving some updates on what we're doing as we go into this evening tonight. We know that the curfew is in effect and people should be at home. You are safest at home, so please, please stay home. What I saw tonight and the type of vandalizing that was happening was unacceptable. I saw the Crest Market, a small mom and pop grocery store owned by two hardworking immigrants that came to this country, that put everything they had into their small bodega and market. I saw that being attacked tonight. Most of these businesses that you're seeing across the city are mom and pop small businesses. People need to focus on what's important, and it's keeping everyone safe tonight. I want to let everybody know that earlier today, we have been working all day, not just with other agencies, but as also the state, to ensure the safety of our community. I had a conversation earlier today with Governor Newsom. The National Guard has been deployed and they are on their way to the city of Long Beach. And we have gone through the process, which happened earlier, of asking for the Guard's support. The Guard, as you know, has a statewide mission. And it's not only in Long Beach where they are currently doing their work. We also not only have our entire Long Beach Police Department and our fire department out trying to take care of the city, but also have other agencies and other policing agencies here as well assisting us. And to all of them tonight, we say thank you, and please also stay safe. It's important for folks to know that right now people need to take care of each other. And we have a lot of important information to share with you this evening. I want to begin by asking our city manager to say a few words, and also then our chief of police, Robert Luna. Tom Modica, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this afternoon, under the power of the city charter as city manager, I declared an emergency, and we have also instituted an emergency curfew as of 8 p.m. tonight, and that is currently in effect all the way through 5 a.m. in the morning. We will reevaluate that curfew and extend it if needed. While the city supports peaceful assembly and free speech, we cannot tolerate destruction of property, looting, or violence. For the safety of everyone in the community, including our first responders, business owners, protesters, and residents, we've enacted this curfew to keep everyone safe. This is an extraordinary time in our city. Let me take a moment just to say, I know you are all frustrated. We are all frustrated. We are angry and heartbroken over the tragic death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. But we urge everybody in the city and the entire region to abide by the curfew and to remain calm. We do know, as the mayor mentioned, that most people who assembled in Long Beach today did so peacefully and were airing their grievances in their First Amendment right, and we thank you for that. So while our Long Beach community is known for its willingness to support each other, especially during this challenging times, we challenge you to do exactly that. We've been through very tough times in the past. We will get through this one as well. Let's work together and make Long Beach safer for everyone. And so we have all of our emergency systems deployed. We have everyone out there working. City crews are together, working as hard as we possibly can, but it is an incredibly tough situation. I'd like to bring up our police chief, Robert Luna, to talk through what is going on out there and the process as well for asking for assistance, which we have been doing since earlier today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. City Manager. Today's a sad day here in our city. To see what's occurring around us, it is heartbreaking. But I want to tell everybody that lives in the city that we have an extensive amount of police officers out in our community. And we are bouncing around from call to call. We're trying to handle as much as we possibly can. Deploying officers, like I said earlier, all over the city, but specifically in our downtown area. Please know that as we as a police department saw a lot of the civil unrest around the country, we as a police department started to prepare. We wanted to make sure that our training, our equipment, that our staffing was going to be up for whatever came our way. We were standing ready. In the last couple of days, as a matter of fact, yesterday, we augmented our staffing. We had more staffing in. We actually sent several dozen officers to the city of Los Angeles to assist them because Long Beach wasn't impacted. But tonight, we were impacted. Typically on a Sunday, we have our normal staffing. And because we had a scheduled protest at our police station tonight, we actually quadrupled the number of officers in the city, specifically around the downtown area. As the mayor stated earlier, we had several thousand protesters that showed up to the front of the police station and then marched around the downtown area. As they marched, they were joined by hundreds and then eventually became thousands of other people. Within that hour, our officers, our command staff that was running this event, made a decision to contact the Emergency Operations Bureau from LA County Sheriffs, and we immediately asked for mutual aid. What that basically means is that we summons police officers from around the county, the region, and the state. Immediately, we were sent several dozen officers to us, and right away we ended up asking for more officers. Eventually, we had what we call multiple platoons. I'm not going to get into specific numbers, but several hundred additional officers to augment the hundreds of Long Beach officers we had here. As the protests grew, and they grew violent, unfortunately, we continue to make requests for resources. Once the county said the resources were expended, that's when the National Guard was requested. That request went in here in the last hour, and we were advised that the National Guard is en route to Long Beach to assist the Long Beach Police Department and all the other officers who are currently assisting us. And as I talk about these other officers, these are officers that are coming from different communities, so I really want to reach out and say thank you for helping our city. You've really helped us a lot. I know we're seeing some very disturbing images on TV, and to be honest with you, I hope they disturb you. They're very much disturbing us. We've gotten inquiries from the media, how could you let this looting occur? It's irritating to watch people go into stores and basically break into them and steal the items. Yes, steal. They're not theirs. There's no reason to do this. And this is what's sad. When we planned for this protest today, we planned for a large group of protesters to come here and express their First Amendment rights and express their anger in a positive way with the loss of life with George Floyd. I've written about this earlier. I'm upset about it. And here's the sad part. Every police officer at the Long Beach Police Department that I've spoken to is also very upset about the way that George Floyd died. And we're out here trying to facilitate a peaceful protest. And I'm going to say about 80% of the people are doing the right thing. Blocking the streets, signs, yelling, that's okay. What's not okay is you had individuals who came into the group and started to vandalize vehicles, throw items at police officers, and they're the ones who started breaking away, went down into our Pike area and started to break windows and start looting stores. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the way you make a point. How does that, how do we celebrate the life of George Floyd or even talk about his tragic death when you have people committing crimes? That's not what we're going to tolerate. And as the evening goes on, we are going to get control of our streets. People are going to go to jail. We're going to enforce this curfew that'll go on until this event is over. And we will bring peace back to Long Beach. I promise you that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, the fire chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know exactly what we're doing in the fire department. We've received a number of questions about how we prepare for something like this. And first and foremost, I can tell you that the tragic incident that occurred in Minneapolis many days ago has affected us all adversely, and has it affected our city, obviously, and it's still going on around us. What I want to portray to you is the pride that I have in the men and women of the Long Beach Fire Department and the police department and everybody that's here that's responding to the city's needs. They are coming here of their own volition. They haven't hesitated, they haven't faltered, and regardless of what's going on around them, they are responding and they're here for you. As soon as the incident occurred in Minneapolis, we start to make our observations and try to become aware of exactly what's going on. And I can tell you, I've been in close discussions with the police chief, the city manager, and getting prepared for just this type of situation. We've had our command staffs together. We've been working very collaboratively together throughout the procedure. And in fact, we are over at headquarters right now working together as we speak. Along the same lines with Chief Luna, I can tell you that mutual aid has come to our assistance again today. Unfortunately for us, we have wildfires that occur each and every year throughout the year, and so we are well versed in using mutual aid. At a certain point this evening, we began to get overwhelmed with the amount of incidents that we had coming in. We reached out to the region. They sent us a strike team from LA County. That strike team is still working with us downtown. They'll be with us here tonight until the situation alleviates itself and they can respond back into their own district. But for now, extremely thankful not only to the LA County Fire Department, but to everybody else that has reached out to us to offer their assistance. I can't tell you how proud I am of everyone in the community, all the residents, all the visitors that are coming here to the city, and how they're responding to this and the resiliency. I know that we will get through this. I've been here for 34 years, and I've seen quite a bit in that career, and I've seen the resilience of the residents of the city of Long Beach, and I know that we will rebound. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And again, I want to thank the incredible men and women of both the Long Beach Fire Department and the Long Beach Police Department who are doing a great job out there under very difficult circumstances. Before we close, I just want to say two other things. The first is just know that the entire city leadership, our community leadership is working on this issue, and understanding and knowing that our city is going to recover from this. But right now we are ensuring the safety of everyone. And so we need your help. Every member of the Long Beach City Council, our community leaders, our faith group, we're imploring and asking you tonight to please stay home. And for all those that are looting and that are causing destruction in our city, you are not welcome in our community. You are not welcome in Long Beach. Long Beach is a diverse, strong, and beautiful place with good people who have always strived for justice and to make our community better. And so I want to concur and agree with what the chief said. We will get control of the situation. The police department, our partners in the police department, and the National Guard, and our partners at the state are all working together to ensure the safety of our city. And so with that, we will go ahead and take some questions from the press. But to everyone else watching tonight from Long Beach, hang tight, and we are going to work to make sure that we get this resolved and stay safe. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first question is from Jeremiah from the Long Beach Post. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Hi, Chief Luna and Mayor Garcia. Do you have a sense yet of the scope of the damage and injuries? How many places have been looted? How many police officers or protesters or looters have been injured or arrested? And Chief Luna, one thing specifically you said you were prepared for a large protest. But why wasn't there the expectation that this would turn into exactly what we saw tonight with looting, especially after what we saw in LA?
So I'll start. So we're obviously assessing the damage right now. I think what you're seeing from the images on TV, what you're seeing certainly on social media is significant damage to a lot of really great mom and pop, many mostly minority-owned businesses across our city. That assessment will continue, and of course, the determination of the arrests and what's happening, we'll be able to have a much bigger picture, I think, probably by tomorrow. Right now, we're just trying to tamp down what is happening right now. And I will add, and the chief can add to this, but absolutely, the city was preparing for a worst-case scenario. We've been preparing for that for days. But what we were hoping for was a peaceful protest. And that's something that, in my opinion, turned very violent, unfortunately, from a lot of folks that are not part of our community. Chief.
Yeah, to answer the first question in regards to the number of locations that have been impacted, on the drive here, I know there's been at least 7 or 8 different locations that had been looted. I know that the first reports of looting happened down in the Pike area, and our officers responded there. The media was covering some of that. Sometimes you get the anger from people saying, "Where are the police?" We were everywhere, but it takes time to get there. When we got there, we gained control of that situation pretty rapidly. But one of the challenges we face is that once you come into an area, you can't give it up. So we're leaving people, and that's where the additional officers come into play. I know right before coming in here, I did another media interview, and I was away from all the television sets, and I was being asked about a Ross store that was being looted, a clothing store. And I know we had officers en route at that time. We'll assess that. The mayor talked about it, whether it's later tonight, early tomorrow. We're in response mode right now. When we start recovering from that, we'll be able to make those counts. The direction from me through our command post is to make as many arrests as we can. That has been very difficult to do at the early stage because we've been getting so many different calls and the officers running around from location to location. So I don't have an exact number of what we have yet. I didn't expect them to be too high, those numbers, early on. But as this night wears on and we start enforcing the curfew and get even more resources than when we have, those numbers, I assure you, will go up. And the mayor said it earlier. If you're coming to this city to involve yourself in either looting or committing crimes or hurting people, we're going to come after you. We're going to put you in jail, and we're going to get you prosecuted. We will not accept this in this city. That's very important. And Jeremiah, I think the other question you asked is, if we're expecting a protest, why weren't we more prepared? We deployed 4 to 5 more times the number of officers that we normally do on a Sunday. We brought in hundreds of officers. And yeah, we're going to debrief this at the end and figure out, should we have brought thousands in? I got to tell you, Maybe that's the case, but the expectation was that people were going to protest peacefully. We didn't expect, we knew we're always going to get agitators. We didn't expect this number of, but now we're going to start dealing with it, and we're getting those resources that we need. I think I answered all the questions there.
Yes, thank you very much, Chief. The next question is from Eric from the Press Telegram. Go ahead, Eric.
Hi, my question is, can you say if the people who were arrested, I know you're still sorting out specifics as to, exactly how many, but were many of those people residents not from Long Beach? Were they from outside of Long Beach, as far as you can tell? I remember you mentioned that these people, these looters, are not welcome in our city. So just wondering if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we know already that many of these folks, we don't have all the numbers exactly yet, but we know from just intelligence and from assessing the situation that many of these folks are not from our community, and they are coming from other places. And in fact, many of them go from protest to protest, and so we are aware of that and is being assessed. And I think tomorrow, once we get past the emergency of the moment, we will have more information about exactly who's been arrested and where exactly people are from. Next question.
Thank you, Mayor. The next questions we have are from Jim Rodriguez over at CBS 2, and I think we've covered this, but they're asking specifically about, does the city have any statistics? And as we're seeing throughout other areas that have a large number of arrested protesters, what are we doing here in Long Beach? Are we doing anything specifically relating to that?
Well, I think specifically what we're doing is all hands on deck. I mean, we have the entire police department, everyone mobilized, all of our partner agencies mobilized, the National Guard that's on the way, and more importantly, I think we have a community that is strong, resilient, and out there helping each other. And I've seen that today, and I hope that will continue in the days ahead as we recover and get through this. The other question was, as it relates to arrests and data, we're going to have that tomorrow. I think we don't have data immediately to share about what arrests are being made, but I'm sure the chief will share that tomorrow.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last question from Julie from ABC, is the National Guard coming to Long Beach?
Yes, on the way. And I've chatted with the governor twice already today, and his staff has been great. So I want to thank the state for their support. I want to thank all the other partner agencies for their support as well. Thank you. Stay safe, Long Beach.